Hey, welcome back to Python MC. I'm your Python MC coach, Richard Ashe, and in this section we're going to get into functions in EarSketch. So we've got some code in here. It basically we have our variables, loops, conditionals, and functions vocals. Now it's like variables, it's like a name tag, etc. And that's going to be in a list called vocals list. We've got my beats, which is just a bunch of beats, a list of beats called my beats. And we use fit media and insert media.
Def it in a function, create algorithms.
Okay, so all it's doing today, so far rather, is just dropping in using insert media and fit media, those built-in functions. But what if we wanted to insert a list? Can we do that? Is it built into EarSketch? So let's just try it. Insert media list. Seems like it should work, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work because that's not a built-in function. But if you don't have a function that's already built in, you can create your own function. That's the power of functions. You can actually create your own reusable code. So let's go ahead and take that concept of insert media list. Let's define it on our own. So we're going to use the def keyword, def, and then we're going to go ahead and give it parameters. Parameters are simply variables that we sort of set as placeholders when we define a new function. We're going to copy in these names for our parameters: clip, list, track, and start. So these are just the placeholders. Okay, later when we call the function, we are going to give it values. So those values will be called arguments. So parameters are what you call the variables when you set. Arguments are the variables you use when you call it. So you can see I just put in my colon at the end of the first line of my function definition, not a semicolon, but 2 dots. Then I'm just going to put in a for loop. For clip and clip list. Again, 4 spaces. Everything that's indented 4 spaces is part of that block of code. I'm going to just use my insert media built-in function with clip, track, and start. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to kick out the start of the next sound clip, like my next vocals, my next beat. I'm just going to kick it out 4 measures. Okay, could be a little space in between them. Okay, we'll see how that works. And then we're going to go ahead and set effect. Now, what does set effect mean? It just basically means I'm going to put in effect like echoes or delays and things like that. And so this has I'm not going to go into too much details of that. Instead, I'm just going to copy some code. So the way I'm going to figure out like some good sample code. So I'm going to search on set effect. Actually, no, every effect explained. And so I just clicked on my book, searched on it, and that's the curriculum built into EarSketch. And then I'm going to walk through this to get to delay. And here we are at delay. Let's hear what delay sounds like. There we go. Okay. And so basically delay it kicks out it echoes basically. There's a time in milliseconds that the original track is delayed. Okay, so it'll sound a little bit like an echo. So it can go maximum 4 seconds, minimum 0, and the default is 300, or like basically 1/3 of a second. And so I'm going to go and drop this code in, just use the sample code. I'm going to change the 1, which is the track number, to my variable name called track. So this will just put in that effect of each time I run the code. Alright, so now I already have some code written out here where I've actually used my newly defined function, insert media list. That wouldn't have worked before, but now I defined the function, now it'll work. I'm going to go ahead and pass it the arguments, which are the variables that the values rather, that I give to the function when I call it. And I'm just letting it sounds like, alright? Okay, so now that's dropping in my vocals clip, so it's just doing that loop and it's setting that delay effect. Okay, and then it just does that. It's just a normal for loop, but the difference is that now I've built to create a new function, and I can call that now for my vocals list, my beats. I can reuse this again and again in this code. So now I'm going to drop in the beats. You notice it does the same thing. The same loop, okay, where it drops in the beat with insert media, and then it sets the effect. And when I call my newly defined function, I give it different values, different arguments. In this case, The argument is my beats for the clip list. Track number starts at 3, and then I start at 1. That's it. We've defined a new function. We basically reuse this code with different values each time. The same way we use insert media, except we define our own function for inserting a media list. That's it. Get into it, play around with it, have fun. We'll see you again on Python MC.